What's up, guys? This is Xpodex. Hopefully you guys are doing good. I tested 10 different games at AK144, but I'm using DSR. I have a Gigabyte M28U. It's a 4K 144 hertz IPS panel at, did I say 28 inches? I enabled DSR, so it's like trying to act like a higher resolution than it really is, but it's not apples to apples exact. It's not identical to a higher resolution. So take this with a kind of a grain of salt with those numbers. I didn't screen record, but like just take a couple FPS away, probably maybe 1 to 2, maybe 3, 1 to 3, maybe. Let's just say that. So I have a i9-9900k at 5 gigahertz. It's an 8-core, 16-thread, locked 5 gigahertz, 64 gigs of RAM, 3600 megahertz. A Dell 4090 stock frequency. It won't let me go higher than that. But yeah, 2670 on the core, I do believe. So yeah, tested 10 games. Some are lighter, some are more demanding, some are older, like 2013, and some are within a couple years. So kind of a healthy mix of if you like playing a bunch of games, you know what I mean? So this is what kind of you'd be seeing with my setup. It's not a clean installation of Windows. I have a 8000 polling rate mouse, EVGA X17, and then a Z15 4000 polling rate keyboard. So that and RGB software, it uses some CPU usage just running it, you know what I mean? So yeah, let's go darker, like the grayish, blackish one, whatever that is. It's kind of a gray, brownish, blackish. But yeah, that color is minimums, and then the maximum is the light blue. So kind of go in between is kind of like what the average is. I kept on, like, I launched a game, made sure it's at 8K, maxed out. There's 2 caveats though. See if I can remember here. Tomb Raider, I turned off SSAA. It's almost like a super sampling. I forgot super sampling, and I forgot, but it just 22 FPS if I enable it. So I have that one disabled, and just no anti-aliasing at all. And then Sons of the Forest as well. I turned anti-aliasing off there because I think it was Sons of the Forest. Sons of the Forest, I think it was Sons of the Forest, because its only option for anti-aliasing is TAA, which blurs the whole thing pretty much. And FXAA is kind of blurry too. Don't use those. Use any other one pretty much. So yeah, Modern Warfare 2019, 64 to 78 pretty consistently. Like it didn't dip lower than 64, and I didn't really see it higher than 78, you know, so like somewhere in the middle is kind of what you would be expecting. That is gunfight. That is not multiplayer. It's not like a huge, massive world. That is gunfight on Atrium, I think. It's that one map with, like, there's the middle, and then there's sides as pots and, like, clay pots and stuff, you know what I mean? I think that's in as a tree. So I think that's Atrium. That's like more of a lighter one, so that's kind of like best case scenario, and more you know, might be seen in the 60 to 72 maybe on average. I didn't test a bunch of the maps, but it's gunfight is a smaller map. Yeah, so yeah, that's that. Dirt 5, 53 to 67. Like that was an amazing playable, like with a controller, you know what I mean? Like it was nice. I'm like, dude, with my current hardware and an 8K screen, I'd be seeing this close to a 60 FPS experience locked pretty much, you know, with a racing game. Side scrollers, racing games, fighter games, like that's totally fine at 60. Like I'm okay with that. Any like first person shooters like Modern Warfare or something like that, I want more than that, but like a 5090, pop that in when it comes out eventually. I'd be seeing an improvement for sure. And 8K, I'd be sick when that comes out. 120, 144, whatever. A Plague Tale, 22 to 23. It's so hard to run. Dang, it was so, yeah. And then God of War, added lowercase g, you see that? 53 to 57. That's a PlayStation title, yeah? So it's like, it's not as CPU demanding, you know what I mean? So like if it was more CPU demanding, that might be a little bit different, but it was nice. It was a nice experience. The other ones all were, you know. I mean, besides, I mean, there was 22 FPS is not nice, obviously, you know what I mean? But like, so maybe I kind of contradicted myself right there. But like the other ones were pretty decent. The Plague Tale was not. That was just a stuttering mess. It was. I mean, 22 FPS. Play a game with 22 FPS. It's like, you know, it was really rough. Horizon Zero Dawn. That was a little bit hard to run when you crank it, you know, 44 to 53. So it was around that 45, 52, 51. That's pretty much average what I was seeing. Kena, Bridge of Spirits. That is a sick game. I really need to play that one. Just start it over and just play it. It's so sick. It kind of reminds me of like, what is being used right now? My Call of Duty games are on a hard drive. Okay. The newer Call of Duties, sorry, ranting a little bit, but the newer Call of Duties kind of want an SSD. Stutters a little bit. Probably should change that to an SSD. I need a bigger SSD, man. Like, get a 4 terabyte or an 8 terabyte, man. For like the newer games that kind of require it. Anyways, Bridge of Spirits, yeah, that one's really cool. 28 to 31. Tomb Raider 2013, that I disabled the anti-aliasing. Or had anti-aliasing, but it didn't have that super sampling one. It's right after Hairworks. I had Hairworks, the Tress Effects or whatever. Tress Effects, I think. And then right underneath it was a super sampling one. I just disabled that. So 98 to 105. That was a very smooth experience. That was nice. So with my current hardware in 8K144, just all of a sudden if I had it, and say if the 4090 could actually display it, which it can't, if they found a way to do that using multiple cables with a 4090, you know, and if it was like $2,000 or something like that, maybe I just jump on that. But as you see right here, I'm gonna have to lower settings or render scaling to make it more playable and enjoyable. So you kind of need the GPU with the extra, you know, bump in resolution there. Atomic Heart 35 to 44, but for some reason the frame rate was actually halfway decent. It was like almost like a Destiny frame rate, where Destiny, even at lower frame rate, it still looks pretty decent compared to other games at lower FPS. You know, it's weird. I should make a video on that. Just doing a bunch of games side by side, same exact FPS, what feels and looks smoother. That'd be kind of cool, right? And interesting. Just engine, how it works, and just, you know, everything's different. But anyways, Helldivers 2, that was, did I spell it right? Yeah, I did. Helldivers 2, that was pretty demanding, 35, 34, 37 FPS. I was on a controller, which best not to play Helldivers 2 on a controller, in my opinion at least. I'm not good at a controller, like first-person shooter games, and you kind of have to pop heads sometimes, you know, so. Yeah, I don't recommend that. I died really fast. But anyways, last game, Sons of the Forest, 35 to 41. So all kind of similar FPS, like the Atomic Heart, Helldivers 2, Sons of the Forest. Kena was a little harder to run, and then everything else was just different. Plague Tale was the hardest out of these ones, at least these 10 games. So yeah, if you guys want to see 100 games tested at 4K maxed out, I can have it at the end of this video so you guys can see that. And I did a bunch of graphs. So you guys, and I didn't explain it. I'm doing a long version and a short version. So the short version is just what, like, no talking at all. You just can zoom and stop the video, and then just like, oh, that's what he got. But with a grain of salt, because I was screen recording at the highest bit rate. I was using all of this RGB software and the high polling rate mouse and keyboard, and all that takes effect. So with a little bit more CPU headroom, I would be getting a little, you know, more FPS. So just you gotta think about that. So I just do things differently, but I have to also explain it so you kind of get the picture, the full picture on that. So yeah. Hopefully you guys are doing well and have a good Thanksgiving. And yeah, like and subscribe, all that, and peace out.